Hi everyone! Well, it's political season, the time where the candidates bemoan how divided we are, then proceed to tell how awful the opponent is. I recently saw someone on Facebook who proudly proclaimed that they unfriended someone for not believing in their political position. The issue with this is that it's ultimately counterproductive. We have two major political parties. One party will win an election cycle one time, and then inevitably the other will win it back. Do you really wish to have the opposing party stop listening to the other side? We unfortunately find ourselves in a position where the political parties have far too much influence. They have too much money and power, too much influence in which candidates can win elections, and too much influence on what people should think. It is important to think for yourselves. It really doesn't matter what you believe in, as long as you know why you believe it. If the answer is because that's what my candidate believes, or that's what my friends believe, you may want to reevaluate. Make up your own mind. Think for yourself. As my father-in-law often says, use your head for more than a hat rack. Many of the greatest advances we have made as a country have been the result of discussion and compromise. The last thing we need to do is stop listening to others' opinions. There is no shortage of events that networks decide as newsworthy these days. As events happen, it's easy to get caught up in the emotion of the moment. Many of the news agencies intentionally sensationalize events. It's how they get viewers. They tease more information so that you will watch their program. Don't believe me? Ever hear the phrase, film at 11? Or, coming up, a story you don't want to miss. Then they cover that story at the end of the newscast. They look for the biggest reaction. Reminds me of the story of a big, flying, ugly beetle that ended up in a restaurant. So this big beetle came in through the door, and it lands on this unfortunate woman, and she freaks out. She has a drink in her hand, she spills the drink, goes all over the table, she gets up and she wriggles about until the beetle flies off of her. Well, then it lands on a gentleman, who then also jumps up and screams, and he's very worried about the beetle, starts to wriggle about to try and get it off of him, spills his plate of food all over himself. Well, the waiter, seeing all of this commotion, starts to come over, and the beetle then lands on him as he approached. Seeing the others' reactions, he calmly assessed the situation, realized that if he overreacted, the beetle would fly away and then land on somebody else. So he decided that he would slowly walk to the door, walk out the door, and then flick the beetle away. Problem solved. So resist the temptation to overreact to situations. Analyze the facts. Make up your own mind and handle the situation as you deem appropriate, not based upon how anyone else tells you how to react. I have another story for you today. Story by Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey is a very famous author, and if you haven't read any of his books, I would definitely recommend it. He is a very talented writer. But he told the story of one time where he was at a client's place, and he had a very long day. It was a very trying day. He just wanted to get home. So he goes and he takes the subway home, gets on the train, and he just, so train ride, he's waiting to get home. Train stops. A father and two children get on the train. The father sits down not far from him, and he just sits there and he folds his hands and he looks into the floor. Meanwhile, his children are running all over the place. There's other travelers on the train that, reading newspapers, just trying to get through their commute home, and the children are running around screaming. They start flicking at people's newspapers, they start bothering other people, and then they land on Stephen's, bags. So he turns to the guy and he says, "Sir, can you please do something about your kids?" And he didn't get a response. So now he's getting a bit aggravated, and the kids are continuing to act unruly. He turns, he raises his voice now, and he says, "Sir, please control your children." The guy kind of comes to, and he looks to him, and he says, "Oh, I'm very sorry. See, we just came from the hospital, and my wife just died from a very tough battle with cancer. And I guess none of us really know how to act properly right now." Immediately, Stephen's perspective changed, and he turned to him with empathy and said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can do to help?" See, we don't know all the details of a particular situation. If you do not ask questions and listen, you will not hear all the answers. You will not have all the answers. That's it for now. Again, be kind, stay positive, and as the legendary Red Green always said, keep your stick on the ice.